Welcome back to Fingal Bay Oval for the Fingal Bay versus Dora Creek clash, top of the table clash for A grade. As the Fingal Bay side runs out immediately to our left, that's the home side. We'll go through them. That's at fullback Rob Bryant. Wingers are Denver Performant and Dane Carney. Centres are Travis Napier and Billy Ray. 5'8", Jake Redmond. 7 is Evander Waitua. The front rowers are Adam Hodson, Todd Dora, and Ricky Shine is the hooker. Nathan Dover, Blake Fuller and Ben Schneider make up the back row, while Perry White, Jared Dymar, Joe Murray, Aidan McCartney, Lee Preston and Jaden Barnes make up the Fingal Bay bench. For the visitors today at fullback is Israel Smith. I almost said Israel Folau then. Wow, how wrong would I have been? He might be playing here soon, by the way he's going. The wingers are Thomas Patullo and Nathaniel Becker. Centres are Scott Fitzpatrick and Justin Bedese. I can barely read my own writing. The 5'8" is Brad Clark. Half is Tieran Pearson. Front rowers are Diamond Charlie and Dean Ferris. The scrum is hooked by Zach Brown. The back rowers, Kai Howarth, Brendan Quigg and Dominic Smith. The bench for the Dora Creek side is Pat Murray, Chris Marlborough, Travis Charlie or Trey Charlie, John Kamini, Jiva Moana and Joel Newman. There's some very familiar names in both of those sides, particularly the Dora Creek side. Quite a few of those boys having played in the CRL Country Championship side in 2018 2019. John, how do you see this one going, mate? We've had a little chat already in the pre-game. The pre-game chat about this one. Where do you see it now? Now they're out in the field. They're a big side. This actually, both sides have a couple of big boppers, but Dora Creek in particular look a pretty big unit across the park.
Yeah, mate. Dora Creek look like a big side, but like we said, we're pretty mobile with a couple of big boys up front, a couple of big second rows, but the rest of the side's pretty mobile. So I'll tell you what we try and do is do a lot of kicking, do a lot of chasing, and try and run them around, run the big fellas around. If we can run the big fellas around, they run out a bit of gas, well, that's going to help the boys in the long run. The Fingals run with the wind in the first half. A good kick-off from Rob Bryant back into the fullback there. Israel, like we said, Israel Folau, but it's not Israel Folau, it's Israel Smith. Oh, Smith, so I couldn't understand the writing there. Fingal Bay 3 in the tackle there, second tackle. Coming out on the 30, Fingal Bay first into defence for the third tackle there. Ricky Sheen and Todd Dora over the top. Good run by the Dora Creek. Gets over to about the 35. Bit of early intention there, kicking on the fourth, which is probably maybe what they're looking at. Pretty good kick by the halfback there to fullback Robbie Bryant for Fingal. Good tackle to start the set of six off there for Dora Creek. 3 in the tackle, good chase. Playing a pretty compressed line. I don't know if you can see it on telly, but Dora's sort of pretty compressed in here, so it's obviously a ploy there. So I want to make you go around them, not through them. Big Toddy taking it up for Fingal. 2 and 3 in the tackle. There's probably one to look out for us too, the Fingal halfback. He's a good talker, good director. He's sort of new to the club, come from Asquith in Sydney, moved up here for work. He sort of runs a team around and does a lot of talking. Kick there, a bit of deflection. Ooh, he's got it back too, I think, the Fingal. He's held on there, Dora Creek. A bit of a deflection in the kick. Good mark of defence there from big Blakey Fuller. Dora takes it out through the winger too. Thomas Patula. Another strong run there from the Dora Creek team. Sitting about 55 out from their own line. Last 20, last tackle, referee Gary Stair. Bit of a high kick, bit of a nothing kick really, but see what happens out of it. Ooh, it's gone from nothing, but Dora's got it back somehow, and the ball goes out there at the touch.
Yeah, it was a strange one. It looked like it was knocked forward from Dora Creek straight into another Dora Creek player's hands. But the referee Graham Stair, it's great to have him, a long-term first grade NRL referee. No games in the Newcastle Rugby League this weekend, of course, with the Ron Massey Cup competition on, or rep game on, I should say. So Stair is doing this game, and of course did the Dudley Windale game last night, which I also did for Bar TV. And you said a moment ago about your boys, Gutho, working them around a bit, and we saw Windale do that last night against a much, much bigger Dudley side. They didn't quite get the result, but as we see Fingal Bay hand over the ball, yeah, it's a bad mistake there. Dominic Smith's taken that one 20 yards out, and they've compounded the error by a penalty. We'll check the intent here on Dora Creek. They're going to take the tap as opposed to the two. Diamond Charlie takes it up. That's not good, solid contact. Oh, that. Yeah, I think that one could have gone either way. That probably a little bit unlucky. I think he tried to get to his feet a little quick. Diamond Charlie there he's got a fairly decent resume himself. Referee Graham Stair in almost identical circumstances to last night, actually. Pulls the captain out a few minutes in on the premise of intentional penalties close to the line.
He doesn't take any back chat, Gary Stair. I remember playing 30 years ago when I was playing first grade in Newey. He doesn't take any back chat, so you've really got to keep quiet. The Fingal boys might have to keep their mouths shut for this.
Yeah, and fair enough too. We said in the other game the referee's decision is final, whether you agree with it or not. You just got to roll on. So back chat gets you nowhere, never did. But in the age-old attitude of players, they never seem to be able to keep their mouths shut. Anyway, we see Dora Creek play on tackle 3. There's Diamond Charlie again. So that's again nice contact from the Fingal Bay front row. It's a quick dart from dummy half. It looked like he might have got there. Oh no, he's short as well. There's Diamond Charlie taking another hit up. That's about his 4th in the last 2 minutes. I don't know what his petrol's like, but he looks like he got up pretty slow. So I'd imagine he'll be starting to knock up, and they've given away another set here. They're really under the pump here, the Fingal Bay side, early on.
Yeah, I think they'll do well to hold them out here. I'm pretty sure if they can hold them out here, they've done well. They'll be pretty proud of themselves there.
The star-studded Dora Creek side, halfback Kieran Pearson, who went through the night system with the ball now. Throws it out to Ferris, who's tackled about 10 metres out, tackled 2 right in front of the sticks. Prime position for Dora Creek, but they have held on and they've continued to. That's a mistake from Dora Creek. Yeah, great defensive effort early from the Bay, mate.
Yeah, they all turned up for each other there and pushed themselves up. They were meeting them on the advantage line, and that caused the error. So great defence from Fingal there. I think the coaches and the captain would be very proud of that one.
Look, they've had a couple of really big wins. Dora Creek, they've won by 70 2 weeks in a row, or scored 70 in any case, 2 weeks in a row now. And whether or not they've gone into this game maybe a little undercooked, I know Fingal Bay won by 30 odd last week, but the game probably wasn't reflected in that scoreline. You were there, I saw you in the crowd, and Shortland took it to the Bay, who have of course gone down to B grade now. Took it to the Bay for large portions of the game. So I think if the longer Fingal Bay can stay in this game, I think the greater chance they'll give themselves towards the back end.
Yeah, last week's game, like you said, I think if Shortland sort of concentrated a bit more on playing footy, they were sort of back chatting and looking a bit of niggle. I think if they played a bit more footy last week, they would have troubled our guys a bit more, but our guys a bit more disciplined and brought home the win. But here we go again with Fingal making another error coming off their line. They've got to get to their kicks with this win behind them, and against the bigger side, they must get to their kicks.
I think that was knocked down by a Dora Creek hand, mate. Unless I misread the what the referee referred to. It's a Fingal Bay feed. So they'll get the ball probably 35 metres out, tackle 1. They haven't had the ball in great field position just yet, but they've got to work to a kick, as you said, and just work themselves into a game. They've got everyone running at the moment, Dora Creek, but really we're yet to see what the fuss is all about. We've not seen them on Bar TV, and they do have quite a few players, as I mentioned earlier on, that played in our CRL representative side. As Fingal Bay go to the left, can't quite get the ball away, Redmond, but they're looking pretty sharp in attack here, the Bay. There's Schneider is taken. He's a pocket rocket, young Ben Schneider. I'm not so young anymore as we see Wade Tower dummy and put a kick through. Taken by Patullo, I think it was, who's tackled about 10 metres out. So fairly even start to the game, mate. And I was about to say, he took the pee out of my mouth, so to speak. I was about to say Graham Stair does like to give early penalties, and particularly around the ruck. He gave plenty of them last night, and then the game settled into a pretty good game of football. But the teams probably should be aware of that, as we see a very strong run. He's bumped off Blake Fuller there. I think that was Justin Bedaisy. He's a very big boy for a centre. So yeah, they're in good field position again. Dora Creek from a Fingal Bay error via a penalty, but hopefully that gets that out of their system, and they've cottoned on that he will give penalties if needed. And you said a moment ago he doesn't cop any rubbish, Graham Stair. So as we see a half break made by Israel Smith, and he's pulled down tackle 4. What's your thoughts so far, mate?
So far, both sides are sort of probably feeling each other out at the moment. It's been pretty even. Fingal probably making a few more mistakes, letting Dora Creek in at the moment, but I think at the moment it's pretty even, and that just goes to the drop ball there. But I think it's going to come down to the end of the game too. A lot of mistakes, penalties, it's probably going to cost you at the end of this game. I don't think it's going to be a too high scoring game. Both sides are probably deserve to be on top. Well, I haven't seen much of Dora, but they're both undefeated, so they both probably deserve to be on top. So far so good. At top of the ladder clash is probably now the bruising up part. It might open up a little bit soon, but Fingal's been let off there, I think, with a drop ball, but they've come through with the ball. And Benny Snyder again taking it up with the headgear. He'll do a mountain of work for Fingal. He loves to tackle. He loves to take the ball up. Steps off his left foot all the time, back to his right. Young Brian Sheen in the dummy half. Ricky Sheen, sorry. Big Blakey Fuller. He's a big on the outside. Gets a good ball on the outside to the winger. With a strong tackle to finish him off too, the winger. Bit of a scoot out of dummy half, picking up Big Lee's just come off the bench, fresh. The last tackle for Fingal, so a good kick here would help them out. But a good chase has got to go with it. It's nearly brought rain, that one. It's hit the cloud. And the Fingal's got it too. There's a bit of a chase here. There's a chance. Ooh, no, and Dora Creek's knocked it dead, so it's a good result for Fingal, that kick. It was a high kick, Dave.
Yeah, and you said it a couple of times, mate. The wind will come into it. No disrespect to the winger there, but he was in very... Well, you can't blame him for being in poor position because the wind just took it out of the position he was in. Fingal Bay halfback, Wade Tower, got a little bit of treatment there after the kick. We'll have to keep an eye on that. That was probably fairly close to a penalty, but they've got a result out of it in any case. And we've seen, I've got to say, in the last probably 10 minutes, the crowd to our left has increased exponentially. In fact, I just turned around then thinking I'd see about a quarter of the amount of people I did see. So yeah, good crowd, John. And I suppose, well, as we see another ruck penalty early on in the game from Graham Stair. So as I said a moment ago, hopefully both teams cotton on that he will blow a penalty. That certainly worked last night and ended up being a really, really free-flowing, terrific game of football, won 20-14 by Dudley. So hopefully we'll see another close one today, as the opening exchanges certainly suggest that Fingal Bay more than holding their own. In fact, defensively look quite strong. As we see the first replacement of the game, 17 for Fingal Bay. Aidan McCartney makes his way onto the field. It looks like Snyder, who's having an early little breather. Has done a fair bit of work in the opening exchanges. Might be that can of Coke and sausage sandwich he was having an hour ago. As we see Wade Tower go to the right, there's Jake Redmond. They're just short.
I think 11.
As we see them go.
I don't think it's
Yeah, that's a brick wall there. I think they could probably go anywhere on the field bar there and give themselves a chance. But they've gone there again, and he might be making a liar of me. Yes, they've ducked out from dummy off. I can't quite see who it is. I think it might be that boy McCartney who's just run on the field. I reckon that was his first touch of the ball. So well done to him. He's struck the early blow for the home side. It's Fingal Bay 4, lead Dora Creek 0. Kick to come.
Mate, it's looked silly, Dave. Then we said we couldn't get through there, but he's got through somehow.
Well, that's true, mate. It's both look silly. You said don't go through. I'll call it a brick wall, and they went straight through the brick wall. So well done to McCartney. He obviously saw something we didn't, and got a result. Good work to him, and I've got to say this, from what I saw last week of Fingal Bay to the side I'm watching today, looks significantly better. I'm not sure. I didn't take a whole lot of note of the 19 that ran out last week.
It is a little bit different. I think there's about 4 or 5 blokes that are back this week to last week. So a couple of forwards, bigger forwards, big Lee Preston, Todd Dora. They weren't there last week, so that's helping us up front. So a few big bodies always help.
Yeah, it does, and the physicality aspect against an opponent who also has size and physicality is obviously going to stand you in good stead. And Fingal Bay have certainly opened the exchanges in pretty good nick. They look good with the ball. Dora Creek, probably their only real opportunity was a pretty ordinary set of 6 on Fingal Bay's line, in which they gave up the ball fairly cheaply on, I think it was tackle 4 or 5. So well done, Fingal Bay, right in the mix at the moment, and hopefully that's the way it stays. I think we both anticipated a close game, and that's the way it's headed. As we see Dora Creek kick off. That's a nice strong run back. I can't quite see the number, but tackle 1's about 25 metres out.
I think after scoring 2, Dave, Fingal must get to a kick here. I'd probably kick early here with that wind behind him to get out of this danger zone so we don't make a mistake.
And we mentioned that last night. Paul Arundale on the commentary and I as well. I think it happened 3 times last night where the team that scored failed to complete the next set. And, well, Fingal Bay have done that by virtue of a penalty. And that'll put them in pretty good field position again. So, and they were marching up field pretty well there too. That was tackle 4. They still had 1 to go, and they were almost at halfway. So,
40 out from the Dora Creek lines. That's a great penalty on the 3rd tackle for Fingal.
That's Lee Preston, one of the substitutes. Gets a nice little ball away, actually. Billy Ray takes that about 5 metres inside. Now we've got the hooker taking it first receiver. That's Ricky Sheen. Here's Wade Tower. Goes out to the right. That's Redman. It's taken in a strong tackle. They go that way again.
Dora Creek blokes got their hands on their hips and that. They're struggling a little bit at the moment at Dora Creek. Fingal's had the ball probably the last 3 or 4 sets, and they seem to be really struggling a bit, the Dora Creek fellas.
Well, we go back to what we said a moment ago about maybe being a little bit underdone. We've seen them. No, that doesn't help. Now, I'm not really sure. I'm not really sure the rule here. Now, I assume he called held. And then dropped it because it was clearly knocked back. I'm not quite sure, but in any case, the referee's on the spot. He's ruled accordingly. 6-0. The Dora Fingal Bay be disappointed with that. I agree with you. I think the Dora boys are looking a little worse than where they haven't had anyone take it to them this year yet.
They feel that big fellas just wandering around, sort of gassing up, sucking them in deep. So, but this might help them here. Hopefully Fingal don't give a pen away here, so Dora Creek can get on the back of that. They've got to try and nullify that, get the 6 out, get the ball back, Fingal.
Yeah, I get the distinct impression, and you said it a moment ago, that this game might go deep into the second half before anyone makes a real go of it in terms of getting ahead, and that means fitness is going to come into it. So I'm not sure what the fitness regime of either side. I know Dora Creek's coached and managed as we see a kick go out on the full. So another error from Dora Creek, who've opened this game with a number of what you would probably call fundamental errors, really. Captain coached by Brad Clark, who had a little bit of NRL experience, National Rugby League experience, and as I understand it, fairly experienced New South Wales Cup player with the Canterbury Bulldogs. So a fair bit of experience there. I would expect him to have Dora Creek relatively fit. As far as the Fingal Bay boys go, Gutho, what's their fitness regime been like?
Yeah, the boys train twice, sometimes 3 times a week, but Bowie loves his fitness. He's the captain coach, and Skull is the other coach. With Dean Carney helps them out too. But they do a lot of fitness work, and if they get beat or do a lot of errors, Bo really sticks it up on the Tuesday night. So our blokes will be fairly fit. They'll be going at the end of the game. Just a kick through there. Probably wasn't the best kick of all, but straight to the fullback. But the chase was good and the defence is good on the end of it. So this is probably now, we're probably 20 minutes in, 30 minutes in. So it's probably time now where there might be a few errors or there might be a couple of blokes stand out here. But I think, like we said earlier too, the game will come down to penalties and probably penalties, drop balls, because I don't think there's going to be much in it at the end. Both sides seem to be pretty evenly matched. It's been pretty willing out the middle too, which is good. Big fellas getting into each other. Good dummy half run there by the 15. Chris Malvik. Oh, geez, that was forward. But anyway, let's let that go. Break up the left. A little bit unlucky there, the Dora Creek fellas. Last tackle there. The winger knows and he's kicked it. Oh, geez, this could be an amazing try here, I think. I'm not too sure what's actually happened here, but I think he might have given it. He's given it, referee Gary Sinclair has given it out there, which is probably against the run of play, but that's what happens in a game of footy. Sometimes luck goes your way, sometimes it doesn't. It certainly went Dora Creek's way that way. But he's saying that too, the Fingal Bay defence was left a little bit skinny out that side too. They didn't chase that kick through.
Yeah, they went out there earlier on and come up with a mistake, but the Fingal Bay looked a little bit short there too. But yeah, it looked we're 150 metres away. It looked a knock on for all money from here. But the touch judge, who was right on the spot, he said yes from the moment it happened. So we'll bow to his knowledge over there. He is closer to us, and I can't bag him. Otherwise, he won't get a beer for me tonight at home, out of my fridge. So I probably shouldn't say that, should I? Not that I do that at home. I'm only joking. So. In any case, that's got Dora Creek back into the game at 6 points to 4. Kick to come. It'll be a tough one into the breeze, but yeah, that was a bit of a nothing play, really. They were going nowhere, and probably a little bit lucky there. But luck's a fortune, and sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. So I don't think Fingal Bay. Well,
they weren't that urgent to get there. I don't think they sort of struggled to get there a bit. So you've got to be urgent in these sort of games. Those little things can turn a game. Little 1%.
And we saw in the earlier game as the kick looks, it's going to be short. Well, it is. I think in any other circumstance that goal that probably goes in. It was straight but short. So that leaves the score as the ground announcer has just confirmed. Fingal Bay 6, Dora Creek 4. I'd reckon that's about 18 to 20 minutes into the game at this point. So good early exchanges, mate. And we keep saying the fitness levels of both teams will be on display in probably about 40 minutes from now. Once we start hit that middle of the second half, the Fingal Bay side look fit, and then obviously the Dora Creek guys pretty well trimmed as well. Your halfback looks like he's had a couple of Richie Steak Sangers. He's probably carrying a couple, but other than that, they're going pretty well. Having said that, he's going well too. I think you said he was from Asquith in the.
Yeah, he's been down in Sydney. He moved up here for work, and he was playing with the Asquith Magpies in. I'm not sure what comp it is. Might be the New South Wales Cup or Ron Massey, one of the two anyway. So we're pretty lucky to pick him up, really, which is a good pickup for the boys.
Oh, I'm not sure what's happened here. Graham Stairs calling out one of the Dora Creek players, it looks like. So I'm not sure whether there's going to be a penalty against the team in possession. It certainly looks as though it's going to be. I couldn't see what it was for, and well, the Dora Creek boys have already conceded. They're going back to their mark. So, there will be a penalty to Fingal Bay. I can't confirm what that was for, and I'm not sure what the signal's going to. Oh, it's an elbow. Looks like an elbow when they play the ball. We didn't see it, but again, there's no dispute from Dora Creek. So, we'll bow to the referee's decision there, and that puts Fingal Bay on the attack. About 10 metres out, tackle one. They go to the right. A try here would be very handy for them.
Good answer for the try from Dora Creek. If they get a try back here, sort of make up for the one they let in before. It's coming out the back line there.
Oh, well, that was, unnecessary play there. It looked like Jake Redmond, I think that took the ball to the line. Well, we're not in great position here, but it looked about 1.5 metres forward, even if it was taken. So probably unnecessary, but in any case, they're probably where they want them to be. If you're going to hand the ball over, you want to hand it over down here. But I just get the feeling that opportunities like that are not going to be 6 tackles in the opposition 20 are not going to be common today. So you've really got to take the most of your opportunities when you get them. As we see Dora Creek now running out. They're about 20 metres out, taking it over the far side. That's Scott Fitzpatrick. He's tackled about 20 metres out, plays the ball slowly. They go to the left again. That's a strong tackle. That's good contact again by the Fingal Bay defence. How's Redmond again trying to make up from his error? Oh, they've given away a penalty. That's exactly what they didn't need, and they've given away 10 too. So it's an error compounded by an error compounded by an error.
I said he hates backchat. This Gary, the referee's there. He hates backchat.
Yep, and fair enough too. The official's there to do a job, so there's no necessity in making comment. Fortunately, we don't have a ball boy on the other side by the looks of it. So the Dora Creek winger, Matt Becker, has had to run 50-odd metres to retrieve it, so we'll have to wait for him to come back. Might try and get the Fingal Bay to rectify that at half-time. We've got one on this side. Well, there you go. They're all over at Fingal Bay. They've just put a message over for that wanted ball boy as Diamond Charlie again takes a strong run, 25 metres out.
Gets a ball boy every time, doesn't it?
Can't beat your pint to get me for a ball boy. I know that much is... that's a strong tackle. Well, that's... Yeah, nice little short side play there, and if he was able to maintain his balance, he may well have got to the try line there, Matt Becker. I think it was. Just tippy-toed a little bit, but tippy-toed onto the line as opposed to inside it. So the referee, or the touch judge, I should say, right on the spot, put his flag up. Saves Fingal Bay a little bit of embarrassment from those multiple errors that they made, letting Dora Creek out of their own 20. So they've just got to take stock now. And I think you said it before, an early kick here, but off the first couple, if you've got a kicker with a decent boot, I like the idea of turning this Dora Creek side around and making them work it out. We did see them struggle there for breath probably 5 or 10 minutes ago, and they've probably had the opportunity now to get some air in the lungs, but I don't mind the idea of turning them around and making them work it back. I don't know whether they've got the capacity to go a full game. That's a nice ball. There goes Waitoa out to the right. That's Redmond, I think. It's taken. Here's that kick. He's found a little bit of space too. No, yeah, well, he has found some space, but it's too much space. He's kicked it out on the full, so there's another error which will hand the ball to Dora Creek on the 30-metre line. And John, they're making a few errors here, and they're not helping themselves.
Yeah, mate. It's one of the things in footy, like errors can cost you anything, and especially simple errors like that. Sort of, yeah, he's got the wind behind him. He's got the whole park. Maybe he would have been a bit better going for a bit more distance. Maybe not so much angle, but he's got to live and learn with that for the second half. They've only got this wind, which seems to be swirling around a bit, but it's getting strong. But then it dies off a bit, so hopefully it can turn around the second half. But the dummy half's just come out here from Dora. Over to the 6, Brad Clark, and I think he might be in. I think he is. It's a good little scoot there from the hooker. Zach. Chris Marlborough, was it? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, good little scoot there. Got the Fingal defence from marker. Caught them napping and then onto the 5-8. And a neat little try there for Dora Creek, unfortunately. But that comes back down, like we said before, Dave. A mistake from the kick, trying to get out of your own half. They're the sort of things that cost you in games like this, especially top of the table ones.
Well, it was multiple mistakes and decent sides. Too much opportunity, and they've given them multiple. They've finally taken one, and they almost took one a moment ago when the winger was taken into touchdown this side. But Chris Marlborough, pretty good pedigree, went through the Knights junior system, had a pretty severe injury. He was in his early 20s from recollection, and it's good to see him playing footy again. It was surmised at the time that he would probably never lace a boot on again, but yeah, good to see him having a run around. A good dart out of dummy half from him, and as we said before, former New South Wales Cup player Brad Clark did the rest. Scored to put the Dora Creek side ahead 8 points to 6 with the kick to come. You're right about that breeze. I think it is, and very, very similar to last night. I think I said before, a swirling one then too, which made it really difficult to see which team actually had an advantage, and because the advantage switched from team to team during the course of both halves. And we see this kick, which is a low one, and just to the left of the post, it looked like. It was certainly high enough that time, but didn't quite have the accuracy. I'm not sure whether that was the same goal kicker as the first, but if it was, he certainly learned from his first kick, because that one was much closer. All right, Rob Bryant kicks off for the second time of the day for Fingal Bay. Kicks it deep into... Oh, and they nearly get another result there too, but a little juggle from the Dora Creek front row on the in-goal line there, then sees him in the end have a pretty good result. Tackled about 30 or 25 metres out now on tackle 2. From where they started, that's probably fairly favourable for them, but they've just got to keep in it now, mate. They're up 6-0. They probably bombed a try there a few minutes ago. I imagine they'd be a little bit frustrated. They've just got to stick with it. It would be really important for them in this set and probably the next set, to not give away a penalty here, regain possession and get through to a kick. And it doesn't have to be you don't have to score a try. Just work yourself back into the game.
Yeah, just a few bad errors probably from our fellas there. But to Dora Creek's sort of credit, they've sort of kicked another gear. The Fingal Bay boys, they had them down there for a while. They had a bit more ball, but then most of the ball's been back Dora Creek's way, which is in turn Fingal Blokes are struggling a bit now. It's just a lost ball there in the play of the ball, but the Fingal guys seem to be sort of walking a bit now, and they're struggling. So it's just ball control, errors. Whoever controls the ball the longest, holds the ball, is probably going to win this game at the end. Especially with Dora Creek, they've had a couple of big wins in the last couple of weeks, so they mightn't have the legs at the end of the game winning so easy. But it's getting closer to half-time now, so it's pretty important set for Fingal here to get a good kick away to get up the other end. Like I said before, Dave, too, it is a good crowd here today. They've sort of built in as the game's gone on. The major sponsor of Shoal Bay Country Club. Fingal Bay caught sort of 40 out from their line. Goes back to Rob Bryant. Gives it a big hoove. Which is not a bad kick. And they've got the bounce. It'll probably go dead. So it's had a 60-metre kick, Nelly. That just proves how strong that wind is. So Fingal's got a really, second half, do it pretty tough, I think.
Yeah, didn't have a lot of luck there with that bounce. That was a pretty good kick off the boot. And just to give the Shoal Bay Country Club, one of the sponsors, a wrap, I had an hour and a half spare with the boys today, so we ducked in for lunch on the way here, and it was pretty good. So well done to them. And just while I'm on my feet in regards to sponsors, we obviously thank Quizmasters for their sponsorship of the of what is normally Friday night football. This week it's Saturday afternoon by virtue of the fact that last Friday night's game being cancelled, as we see Dora Creek make a half break, swamped in the tackle on the 40 on tackle 4, and there's a ruck penalty that we've spoken about again. And there's that mistake that Fingal Bay just seem to keep making. Fundamental errors. They're not ones that, I mean, drop balls you can wear, but silly ruck penalties are probably another thing. When you're fully aware that the referee's going to penalise you for it, you just don't do it. You wouldn't have thought it'd be rocket science. But anyway, Fingal Bay side have got to defend now, and this is a crucial little period. We've got about 6.5 minutes to go, and they've successfully defended that one. The referee's found a knock on there.
Both teams seem to be a little bit struggling at the moment, I think, with errors and that, so maybe it's a little bit warmer out there than what we think.
Well, probably coupled with the fact that it's been a pretty physical game too, and neither side is probably really run in yet for the season, so it's probably not unexpected when you think of it like that. The vast majority of these players have remained on the field for the full period, so there's a couple that look gassed. But that's only going to get worse in the second half if the physicality of the game continues. And if it stays as close as it is at the moment, then I see no reason why it's going to change.
No, that's right. They're sort of... Fingal's just, as we saw, just making a couple of replacements. Reggie Sheen's come on for Perry White at hooker, and big Blake Fuller looks like he's coming on here back into the second row. So a few replacements for the last sort of maybe 5 minutes of this half. Around the dummy up. There to Nathan Dover, to Billy Ray, the winger. Dane Carney on the wings, come in from the sideline. So did well to stay in there, come in from the sideline. Gone wide out to Denver into captain Aaron Hodgson. He's wrapped up, probably 30 out, 40 out. Back to Evander for a little kick, 6 to go. Big Blake Fuller's going through, which I think he'll probably score under the post, and I think he has. Yes, he has. Fingal Bay way back in the game now. Very much need to try that one. Bit lucky, bit like the Dora Creek one, Dave. Was very lucky, but got a good bounce. But well done for the boys there.
Well, I've used that term already, you make your own luck, but I tell you what, he showed a pretty good turn of foot for a big fella. Blake Fuller picked the ball up there. He still had the fullback to beat. He went over, well, he was touched in the end, but he got around the fullback with ease, and that's a pretty good result. It was good work from Waitoa too. He shaped a kick big and just put a little dink in behind the line, and Fuller obviously knew it was coming. He went through, picked it up, and as we said, scooted around the fullback with ease. Scores just to the left of the post for what should be a 6-point try, and that would make the score 12 points to 8, and probably around a relatively accurate rendition of the half, I would think, with a couple of minutes to go.
Yeah, he does float. Fingal Bay use him in the centres and they use him in the second row. So he does float between the centres and the second row. That's why he's quite quick, and he's got a good step for a big fella. I wouldn't like to run into him, I don't think.
No, well, he didn't use his step there. It was more a swerve around the fullback. He was in good position and was able to take it in and. There's a Dora Creek player who's still down injured. I'm not sure whether we're going to continue play whilst he's there. Got to say, he doesn't look in. He looks in a bit of discomfort. I can't see who the player is, and I'm not sure the referee can continue the game with him whilst he's in the in goal. He's still in the field of play, so I'm not sure the referee will continue the goal. Although he looks like he's getting up now, so. The 5 for Dora Creek is Matt Becker. Yep, that's well spotted by our very reliable camera lady who's done a wonderful job today under very difficult circumstances, working with two very inexperienced commentators. She's putting us to shame.
I don't think he's good, that winger. I don't think he doesn't look very good at all. I think that Gary Briggs, the trainer of Fingal's, going down and have a look at him too. He might need a stretcher or something, I'd say. He doesn't look good, whether it's a head knock. He seems to be holding his head.
Yeah, well, he's holding his head. I'm not too. I'm with you, mate. I'm not too sure. So he looked like he was going to get up there a moment ago. In fact, it looks like he's going to get up now. But and in this day and age, with head knocks being what they are, and quite rightly so, the medical staff will treat it with the caution that it warrants. Of course, we've seen a long history now of players back in our era, Gutho, really, that played it was almost seen as a badge of honour where you played with head knocks and not after knocked out. And you know, of course, we know the reality of it now. We can't do it. We're assuming it's a head knock. We're not sure, but that said, he's on his feet and he's left the field. So we're going to be right to go. But he's wishing that the Dora Creek winger Matt Becker's okay.
He's up and he's walking, so that's probably the best thing. So I'm glad he's walking and he's not hurt too bad.
Yeah, here to that as Dora Creek kick off. We've got a couple of minutes to go and a strong run back. Oh, that's the captain Hodgson, I think it is. Took a couple with him there too. And here's Ben Snyder back on the field again. Again, the pocket rocket, and he's got some. Yeah, they're up very quick on that side, Dora Creek. We're in pretty good position here, and I've got to say that they looked fairly marginally offside there. It's there. He's probably got to have a look to his left on that occasion, and as we see a kick through by Waitoa, that looks like a good kick under the circumstances. It'll nail Dora Creek pretty much exactly where they want them, and a good chase as well. Israel Smith taken about 18 metres out from the Dora Creek line. And that's good contact again from Fingal Bay. They've found a second win now, and they really probably don't want half time. But ironically, 5 minutes ago they were praying for it, and they've found that second win, and here they go.
Yeah, I think at the moment, there's a killer there. I was going to say at the moment, if they get a drop ball or something go their way, Fingal might be in again, but that's the end of that.
Yeah, that might not find touch. That hasn't found touch. It's gone straight to the well. Oh, he's dropped it. That's a plethora of errors, if there is such a thing. I'm not sure if that's the right word. I think it is, but a comedy, we'll run with that. That's probably a little more simplistic. I've probably quoted the bookworm there. If you're watching, that's more along the lines of something you'd say. But anyway, we've got Dora Creek now taking it out in just made the halfway line now on tackle 3 or 4, that might be. Just they're not learning their lesson, Fingal Bay. They nearly gave away another ruck penalty there. Here's the 11 for Dora Creek in a strong run. That's Kai Howarth, who's a long-time A-grade player. Most of his period has been with Shortland, had a stint at Cardiff, and now with Dora Creek. There's a strong run again on tackle 5. They go to the left, and here's that same play again. Brad Clark, and touch judge on the spot rules that is touch in goal.
Work for the touchy there.
Always got to give them a rap. 7 tackle set to Fingal Bay as we find the half-time hooter. So, it's a pretty good game of football there, mate, first half.
Yeah, great game of football. Hopefully the second half, it can stay like that. It might open up a little bit, but I'd say it'll probably be pretty similar to that. Pretty hard defence, hard running, but like we said before, I think that win might play a bit of a play in the second half in the favour of Dora Creek.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes, but anyway, we'll take a short break as we have half-time in the Fingal Bay match of the round. Fingal Bay 12 lead Dora Creek 8 in that game. We'll be back in a moment.
All right, as the players come out of the field, the second half, the score is 12-8 in favour of Fingal. I think the second half should be a bit more open affair. They bruised each other out a bit earlier, so just in the opinion here, a few of the people in the crowd, whatnot, I think the team that controls the ball here is probably the team that's going to probably take the game out. But Dora Creek have the wind at their back, but it does swirl around here and it can change any time. Just waiting for the referee, Mr. Stair, to set the game off. Like we say, the sponsors here, Shoal Bay Country Club is a major sponsor of the Fingal Bay Club here. We'd like to thank the Lazarus family for that. And the other minor sponsors help the club run. Dora Creek kick off. Straight back to Evander, well taken, into Dora to bring it back, start the second half. Good strong bullocking run from Big Doro there. Taking 2 or 3 blokes to get him down. Biggie, one off the ruck. I can't quite see who that is from here, but big Blake Fuller, he's having a big game, I think, Dave. The second row for Fingal, he's taken a few good runs, a few good charges, a bit of defence. Benny Snyder, they're going a bit wide here. No, probably not the play there from the Fingal Bay boys, but these things happen, and that's what we said. This is what could cause trouble for Fingal. Errors, and vice versa for Dora Creek. The errors could determine this game at the end. But we'll see what happens towards the back end of this second half. With Dora Creek having had a couple of big wins in the last 2 or 3 weeks, I think. Maybe they haven't played a full game out yet, which might work Fingal's way, but they might be fresh. We don't know yet. Scrum win there to Dora Creek to the 17, who's lost the ball. So it's a good tackle. Then I think that was the 4 for Fingal. Billy Ray, I think, got that ball loose, but the touch is in. Might be a strip, I think. Maybe. No, penalty to Fingal. No, referee's gone the other way. I was going to say Fingal didn't have the ball and they got a penalty, but referee's lost his bearings there for a minute. Bit of good defence there. Fingal muscle up here, hopefully, this little set of 6 here. It's pretty willing out there, Dave, again, to start off.
Yeah, it certainly is. I didn't see what that was for, but we'll bow on the touch judge's view, which is far better than ours, as we see Dora Creek go down the short side through Kai Howarth. He's taken probably 15 metres out. That's tackle 3. They spin it wide. That's Brad Clark. Oh, and that's good contact. That's that man Fuller again. I think I might have miscalled him in the first half, actually, in a decent run he did after that try. But that's an early kick through. That's a fumbled ball. I think Fingal Bay have grounded that. That'll be a goal line dropout. So
Good result for Dora.
It is a good result, but at the end of the day, it's a result that's been handed to them again by a mistake. We haven't seen a lot of mistakes from Dora Creek. They've been fairly, well, dare I say, pedestrian in their attack, but without knowing what their completion rate is, I think it would be fairly high, certainly significantly higher than Fingal Bay's. But what it is showing, Gutho, is that there's been a lot of talk, and I won't gild the lily. That's a nice tackle there out on the right hand side there. We might just call this play before I go on with that. Dora Creek go back to the centre through Tieran Pearson. That's Dean Ferris taking a run, tackled straight in front of the sticks. Tackle 3. Zach Brown at a dummy half goes to Pearson again. That's a wide ball to the back rower who throws, what looked was a Matt Gidley style pass. It looked a little suspicious from here in terms of whether it was forward or not, but the touch judge again was right on the spot. So I've got to say, you could hear a pin drop when that try was awarded. The crowd not real happy, and there's not too many Dora Creek people here. In fact, I reckon there's about 3. So, and they'd be the training staff. So anyway, that squares the game up at 12 points all. 3 tries to 2, I think it is. 3 to Dora Creek, 2 to Fingal Bay. both of Fingal Bay's tries have been converted, so it's a difficult conversion again for Israel Smith out on the far right-hand side touchline. Yeah, unfortunately there for the Bay, mate. They again compounded an error by giving away a penalty, but didn't need to. It was a pretty simple play out here. There wasn't much doing when they went to the centre, who spilt the ball, and as a result they find themselves potentially behind on the scoreboard.
Yeah, well, the errors, like we said before, the errors are probably, it's part of any game, but especially in a top-of-the-table clash, the errors become all that much more vital. And I think that's where we're going to probably head this second half. The team that makes the least errors probably use the ball. Good kicking game is probably the team that's going to maybe get away with this. Dora Creek have the strong win, so it'll be interesting to see if their coach chooses to kick early and try and pin Fingal back. Pretty important kick from the sideline here at 12 all for Dora Creek at the moment. He's taking his time. Well, this shows the wind again. It's fallen off the tee. So I think he's going to, with the wind behind him, he's going to have no problem kicking it dead. It's just a matter of his accuracy, or the wind plays a part in it. He moves into it now. He's kept it low, and no, it's missed. So the score remains 12 all here at Fingal Oval.
Fingal Bay Bombies 12, Dora Creek 12.
Yeah, so 12 each. We'll see how Fingal respond to that try, how they muscle up in their defence in the next set of 6, and how Dora Creek actually handle the next set of 6, whether they do kick early, try and turn Fingal back around, which was probably a good idea, I'd say. If I was coaching, I'd try and kick early, I think. It's a lot easier to kick to get metres than it is to run them. Here goes the kickoff from Rob Bryant. Gets a bit on that one, into the sun, which is a good idea on that side. Fingal take the tackle there, the first. Not a bad run there from the Dora Creek front row, I think, was it? Bit of a scoot from dummy half from the hooker. He's had the ball stripped from him. Great result for Fingal here on the attack, 40 out. Very, very unlucky for Dora there, but like we said before, you make your own luck, and the one-on-one strip comes in handy. And the Ricky Kelly at dummy half back. Snyder there, taking the ground. I think he just took that. He might have found himself nearly a shepherd there. Now it's a Dover out the backs on the Fingal right-hand side. Sheen into dummy half. Barking a few instructions. Out to Evander. A little bit slow there. Defence up too quick for him. Takes a tackle. So 30 out from the Dora line. A little bit of a kick there. Bit of an unhappy crowd won that one. It's called a knockback there, but as you've probably seen on telly, I think it could have went either way, but good luck to Dora.
Yeah, it's one of those NRL ones, isn't it? It's probably a knock-on in an NRL game, and it's a knock-on and knock-back everywhere else. But anyway, I think he probably got that right, to be perfectly honest, much to the crowd's disgust. But there's certainly an opportunity lost there for Fingal Bay. But I started to allude to it earlier on about the position some of the other clubs in A grade have had with Dora Creek and their supposed dominance of this competition. But what we're seeing today is, and we're seeing a pretty good kick there. It's Performant scuttles back and says what looked like a 40-20. So that's probably the first shot across the bow Fingal Bay have had in terms of Dora Creek's intent with early kicks. That nearly got a result, and so close to getting a result, I suspect we'll see that again. But the fact that Fingal Bay are going as well as they are today, and dare I say, I think short of handling errors, I personally think they've been the better team. They're certainly sticking it to a side that everyone thought had the A-grade competition sewn up. So we've seen today that there's not. I suggest with the recent recruitment of players in various other clubs that there'll be 2 or 3 other A-grade clubs that will really step up to the plate over the next few weeks, which will be interesting to see. But that said, we'll see how this game pans out. We've got Dora Creek tackle 1 on the 40-yard line, going the blind side through Brendan Quick, and the blind side run again. Taking in some good contact there. It's a slow play, the ball. The referee's blown time out for an injury. I can't see who that is. I think it might be the winger. The referee's called out the half again. I'm not really sure what's happened here. I don't think he's going to blow a penalty, just a warning. Not sure what that was about, but in any case, blow back time on, and here we go. That's good, solid defence. I think that might be that man Fuller again. I can't tell from here. Although he missed the tackle on the inside. No, it was the 19. That's Jaden Barnes. So go out this side. Here's Clark. There's a nice solid kick. Put some pressure and well taken. And that's a good chase by the Dora Creek left side. They've got an opportunity to pin Fingal Bay here. That's tackle 2. They're about 6 or 7 metres out. Need a couple of good barnstorming runs. That's probably got them in slightly better field position to do it in the centre of the field, but there's still 3 tackles down. As we see a little scoot from dummy half. I think that might be Schneider. Sheen, sorry. So that's tackle 4. He's made a good 10 metres there. We're looking at early kick now. There were some numbers there, but they've taken the tackle. We see a good kick. How's the winger going to handle this one? He's let that one go, and there's a good chase here too from the Fingal Bay side. And that's a pretty good result from 3 tackles about 10 metres out to tackle 1 for Dora Creek 30 out and tackle 2 now in that zone. That's a pretty good result for the Bay. That was some good back half of the set play as well as a kick and chase. So we're now going to see how the Dora Creek side muscle their way back into the game. They look just a little flat at the moment, the Dora Creek boys, and I suspect we've seen a play head off the ball there. Neither touch judges come in. That looked very, very unnecessary. I'm not sure whether the referee's waiting. Yes, he is. Yep, the 14 for Fingal, which is Perry White. I couldn't quite see the player who he took out, but it was blatantly obvious. I'm really not sure why you would do that late in the tackle count. That's going to give Dora Creek a really good opportunity now, and I think we're going to go back to that mark and find the penalty.
Yeah, it's not the smartest move there. I think it come out of marker pretty quick, but it's given Dora Creek another set there. That was about the 4th tackle too, so it's given a repeat set here. Probably 45 out from the Fingal line. And a very good kick here from the Dora Creek. Or has it? Yeah, good kick there from Dora Creek. Sitting probably 20 out from the Fingal line. Could be a costly error, that one, I think, from Fingal Bay there and that penalty. We'll see how they hold this set of 6 out. That's tackle 1. Sort of 10 out from the Fingal line. The big front row, which Diamond Charlie. He's had a strong game too. He's had a lot of runs. We got here, take it back. He's had a strong game for Dora Creek. I think Diamond Charlie's taken a lot of hit-ups. Fingal's pushed them back now, probably 20 out, which has been good defence from the Fingal fellas. 5'8's come in here for a bit of a charge down the short side. Look a bit skinny under the post there, Fingal on the right-hand side. Another penalty here. He's sent someone to the bin here. The referee sent the Fingal Someone to the bin. We're not sure who it is at the moment. Might be the centre, I think, is it? Travis Napier, I think the centre. Has been sent to the sin bin for probably on the back of the Fingal Bay's 2 or 3 penalty. He's been the odd man out to probably cop that. He's probably just the one that's just copped it for the other fellas, I'd say. But anyway, game goes on. Dora Creek attacking, 20 out from the try line. Into the 10 there. Dean Ferris. Tackled sort of 10 out. Dart from dummy half, Marlborough. I think it's Marlborough, the 15, isn't it? Dummy to the left, a scoot to the right, and try close to the sticks. 16-12 now, probably the goal. It's nearly a gimme, so probably 18-12, I'd say. Bit sloppy there from Fingal, Dave.
Yeah, you said it yourself earlier, mate. Just some simple errors, and we saw Chris Marlborough in the first half dart out of dummy half, which set up a try for Brad Clark. We've seen another dart there, which where he scored one himself. As we see the Fingal Bay boys just questioning, presumably, the referee on that sin bin. I must say, it was certainly a penalty, no question about that. But whether or not it was a sin bin, I'm not entirely sure. They haven't had a lot of in-goal or online infringements, Fingal Bay, but the referee obviously has been conversing with the players and is privy to things that we're not. So he's sent to the bin. He's obviously saying it's bin worthy, and in the bin he is. So I'd say he's got about 8.5 minutes to go. Dora Creek have hit the lead 16. It's about to become 18-12. And that's going to make the task somewhat more difficult for the Bay now, who did lead 12-8 going into half-time. And just a couple of brain explosions. I said only a few minutes ago, I think in terms of physicality and genuine usage of the ball, I think they've probably been the better team thus far. But just errors at crucial times and giving Dora Creek possession in crucial key position, crucial field position, has made it infinitely more difficult for them, and it's blown out now where they're a clear 6 points behind. Probably about 20 minutes to go in the game, so they've got plenty of time, but they've just got to work themselves into it. Most importantly, get through this next 7 or 8 minutes where they're a man down and try not to concede any more points. If it goes in at that point, 18-12 or within 6 points at the very worst, then I think Gutho, they'd probably give themselves a real chance in this game.
Yeah, I think that try might have sparked Dora Creek up a bit, and with Fingal down to 12 men as well, it's going to make it a little bit harder running into the wind with 12 men for 10 minutes, but time will tell. It's just a matter of getting a bit of ball and hanging on to it and controlling that ball. I think that's the key factor here towards the last back end of this game. Whoever can control that ball will probably go close to winning the game, I'd say. They're still pretty willing in the middle, though, both sides. Dora just look a little bit on top at the moment. Obviously, after the try, good kick. Get him out of trouble. There's no one back here for Fingal either. Ooh, a little bit lucky there for Fingal. I don't know where the winger was, but I think he might have been in at marker. He got caught at marker. The fullback, Rob Bryan, had to scoot across, but luckily the ball went dead for Fingal. That could have been a game changer there, that try there, straight after the other one. But we'll see how Fingal control the ball. This is coming out of their own line this set. Dora seem to have grown an extra leg here at the moment, Dave. They're try on the back of that, and they look a little bit more hungrier at the moment.
Yeah, you're right, mate. The winger there nearly got caught with his pants down. I'm not sure where he was. I presume he was at marker for the play before, but it was. And if that's the case, it was really good work by Brad Clark, the captain of Dora Creek, who obviously, I'll give him credit, identified it. The kick that he was probably a little unlucky because he didn't put a whole lot on the kick. The wind just took it and ended up going dead. So probably a little bit unlucky there. And as Fingal Bay now get themselves a penalty, much to the pleasure of the loud and vocal crowd that's standing behind us. So yeah, I think the referee might find himself in a marginally better position than what he was 30 seconds ago right about now. But they're still questioning the crowd, the sin binning, but you've got to move on past that, at least the players do in any case. So we see tackle one. Here we go again. Blake Fuller. Oh, he's held up. And the good stead that referee Graham Stair found him in is he's back in the bad books again for ruling that held up. I couldn't tell from here, but another really, really strong run from Blake Fuller. He looks a real prospect for the Fingal Bay side. He's been terrific for him today. I must say, without having the pleasure of stats in front of me, I'm not sure what his defensive work's been like, but from an attacking perspective, I scored that first try. I scored that early try in the second half. Nearly scored another one there, and had a couple of really busting runs as well. So I dare say we'll see him a little bit more. No, we're just short. And I think we've seen a Dora Creek player in the bin now. Oh, hang on. No. I'm not sure what's happened there, but and that looks like Ben Snyder, is it? Ben Snyder walking off. So Fingal Bay now down to 11. I'm not sure what happened there, and certainly any credibility that Graham Stair had there as a result of that penalty is well and truly gone. Now, was another player in the sin bin. The Fingal Bay crowd not happy, and neither is Snyder as he walks past us here, shaking his head. And again, I can't really make too much comment on that because I'm not sure what happened. Can you enlighten me at all?
Yeah, from what I could see there, I think he might have thought he got the ball down, Dave, and then the referee said no, and then I think he's given him a bit of a spray or so. And again, referee Gary Stair is telling Fingal to zip it. I said that earlier, he doesn't like back chat. He doesn't like anyone playing in the ruck. It's two pet hates as a referee. That's sort of put Fingal on the back foot now, down to 11 men, running into the wind. And they haven't had much ball lately, so it's a bit of a test for them now. Like they've got to dig themselves back out of this if they can, with Dora now on the attack, 2 tackles in. You probably find Dora Creek will go a little bit wider now, try and run Fingal around, being down 2 men. Yeah, the crowd are starting to get a bit restless now, Dave, like the local crowd. Sort of 20 minutes to go, and we've been politely told the penalty count's 11-4 in favour of Dora Creek at a home ground, which is probably unbelievable, but these things happen.
Yeah, well, I've got to say that most of them have been warranted. There's probably been a few that we've questioned, but we are a long way away, so it's really difficult to tell. And that one, I have to suggest that you're right in that it was probably some back chat, and we've said it a number of times already. You just can't do it. But anyway, they're down to 11. They've just got to work themselves. They've got the ball now. They can't afford to give away points in the next couple of minutes, and probably don't need to do unnecessary offloads like that. But anyway, that one's come off as we've got the Fingal Bay front rower Adam Hodson tackled just over the halfway line. A little dart is that man again. Another strong carry. He's tackled on his back. And we've seen the first of the sin bin players back on the field. That's Travis Napier, I think it is. So Fingal Bay back to 12, and they've lasted that 10 minutes. I reckon they've got about another 7 to go with still 1 man down, but they've got the ball. They're about 20 metres out from Dora Creek's line, and a try here, Gutho, and I think it is a serious situation of game on.
Yeah, mate, it's game on now. Like I said before, the referee now is Fingal favourite. He's given us 2 in a row, so that's a good thing for us. Fingal attack the line now with Jake Redmond going through. Probably not a ball. Oh. Probably not a ball that had to be thrown there. He might have been better just take that to ground and maybe get on the next play, but Fingal haven't had much ball probably lately, especially with a few men down. They've got to play them sets out when you've got a man down. But they're back to 12 now, so it's only 13 versus 12. Dora Creek on their line, which is probably where Fingal would like to have them at the moment. They've probably got to hope for a mistake here from Dora Creek somehow, or get a bit of urgency in defence, muscle up, and maybe cause an error here for Dora Creek so they can get the ball back. Because I think they need to probably score pretty soon, Fingal, to keep in the game. So, yeah. I don't know how much to go, Dave. How long?
17.
Oh, there's still plenty of time. 17 minutes. It's only 6 points in it. So, but I think probably the next try scorer, if Dora score again, it might be game over. But then Fingal score, it opens the game up right up and again. But we'll just see what the next couple of sets probably could determine what happens for both sides here. A good kick from Marlborough again. He looks like a good player. It could even be a 40-20 here. Well, the Fingal fullbacks, Robbie Bryant's done well to save that. He's kept it in. But Fingal trapped down on their line, probably 5 metres out from their line. Dora Creek are in their line set. The Fingal fellas just sort of struggling a little bit to get back on side, to get the ball back now. Maybe a little bit of magic needed from one of the Fingal fellas, I'd say, maybe. Just grinding away, Big Lee taking it up there. Lee Preston taking one up for the Fingal boys, sitting about 30 out, 32 out. Probably like Jake Redmond to maybe take him on a bit more, Dave, instead of maybe looking to pass, maybe take him on. He's pretty strong, he's pretty fit. He's a good runner. Just like here, he's just picked it out. He's got a good kick on the back of it as well. That was better play from Redmond then. I think his go might be to take the line on a bit. We need him. They probably need him to take a few runs on.
And you can certainly sense a lift in the last couple of minutes. They need to just stick. No penalties here. I can sense a Dora Creek mistake coming here. The Fingal Bay have really muscled up. I've in the time you've been talking, Gutho, I've had a text from perennial Bar TV watcher and long-term referee Matt Spohr, who tells me that that sin bin, the second sin bin of Schneider, was for a deliberate kicking of the ball away in the play the ball, which is, in his words, a sin bin every time, as we see Dora Creek skirt down the left on tackle 5. Brad Clark goes the blind. He might get caught here. He will. That's a good result for Fingal Bay. They've probably only got a couple of minutes with a man down now. The vocal home crowd are really starting to warm to the task here, and I sense that the Bay are right in this. And I think what you said a moment ago, John, that Redmond has been, well, he's been very much catch and pass, but I haven't seen him play a fair bit over the years. He's probably more of a running player, and he hasn't done a lot of that today against a tiring Dora Creek side. I think there's a very good chance a favourable result there. But we saw him try. I think he was the one who dropped the ball in that last set, but it was probably a poor pass. As we see them go wide now, and again it's catch and pass, although they've got a bit of space. Oh, that's a wonderful. Oh, that's a great try. Fingal Bay down the left. John Gufferson has called it. Jake Redmond has picked up the ball. He's gone to the left. It's Dean Carney, I think it is, out there on the far wing, who has scored a pretty good Fingal Bay try. There's still a man down, mind you. And that's made the score 18-16 with the kick to come into the breeze. But what that does, very importantly for Fingal Bay, do is probably chew up another minute and a half of sin bin time for Schneider. So he'll come back out in the next few minutes, and the score it could well be 18 all, which is as good as Fingal Bay could possibly have hoped for. And, mate, we said it a couple of minutes ago, a try to Fingal Bay would mean game on. Well, mate, we've got about 13 minutes to go, and at 18-16, we've not only got game on, we've got a cracker.
Yeah, mate, I just found out Benny's got 2 minutes left in the sin bin, so they're still down to 12 for 2 minutes. Robbie takes a little bit of time with his kick, and he can kick it. He might chew up another minute or so that might leave Benny just with another minute in the bin. A pretty important kick here, like 16-18. If anyone can kick it, Rob can. He's kicked some mighty goals at this oval over the years. Hopefully today's the day he can kick it. He moves into it. He's kicked it. And he's missed it. Unfortunately, he's missed it, but that's how it is.
Score remains Fingal Bay 16, Dora Creek 18.
As you heard the ground announcer, 18-16 in favour of Dora.
Let's go, Bombies, let's go. Let's get behind them, eh?
The sun's just about down here now. It's just the whole field's sort of in the shade now, so it's the last 10 minutes should be a cracker of a finish, I think, onto this game. Like we said earlier, I don't think there's going to be much in it towards the end. So far we've been right, but we can always be proved wrong. Big trainer Mark Stott out there was revving up the Fingal boys. Put on a bit of weight, the big fella too, but he's an amazing man, amazing trainer. And here we go. Dora's kicked off. Back to Redmond. Adam Hodgett, he's had quite a good game too, taking the ball forward for Fingal in the front row there. Pretty important set here, Fingal, after this kick. If they get a good kick away, make a bit of ground, put a bit of pressure on Dora to maybe make an error. So as we talk now, Ben Snyder comes on to make it 13 back on 13, which will help Fingal immensely. So he's had a 10-minute rest, so look for a big last 10 minutes from Benny. He's ready to go. Here we go with the kicks. Not the best kick, straight to the centre, but they're sort of 60 out from the Fingal line. Dora Creek with the ball. Through the fullback there to the number 3 from Dora. Sort of pretty close to the halfway line. Second tackle down. 13 for Dora. Glenn Smith takes one off the team. He's made an error. Much to the delight of the Fingal crowd, he's made an error. And maybe Fingal can get a bit here, Dave. The crowd might get him home here, I think, if they can get on to something here.
Well, they're certainly trying. It's very loud. I'm not sure how much is getting transferred into the viewing back home, but yeah, it's very loud. It's actually quite difficult to hear each other here with quite a big crowd right behind and around us. But it's great. It's all good natured. There's been no bad blood at all, and we said it. I think I said earlier on. It's 99.9% Fingal Bay supporters, which you'd probably expect up here. I don't know whether too many travelling supporters make it here, but here we go. In the closing stage of the game, we did say with in the back half of the second half we expected it to be close, and here we are, 18-16. We're back on 13-13 now. Fingal Bay with the ball as Waitoa is tackled about 35 metres out on tackle 3, and we will hear an enormous yell from around us if Fingal Bay happen to score in this set or in the incoming few minutes.
Or even get a penalty, Dave. Even a penalty.
Even a penalty would be nice, John's saying. Now, I'm not sure if... we're at time out again with an injured Dora Creek player. Probably not what Fingal Bay want at the moment, even though the timepiece stops. But just sensed a little bit of momentum there for the home side, and this probably just stunts their position, of course. But can't help injuries. It's the nature of the game. I think John might have just checked the timepiece. Still 9 minutes to go, so plenty of time for both sides, but particularly for Fingal Bay, who's the side chasing. But I think that might be Jan Kamini, who was on the ground. Went to the Central Coast for a short period. He's found his way back to Dora Creek as Waitoa throws one out the back, and that's tidied up by Billy Ray, I think it was. No, Travis Napia, and. That's a bit of a nothing kick, which might turn out all right. No, the chase has made it okay, but yeah, not a lot of height in that kick. It probably needed to get a little bit higher, give the chasers a little chance to get through, which it didn't do. Now Dora Creek are going to ruck it out. I don't think we'll see a lot of flamboyance from them in the next few minutes. I think it'll be dummy half or first receiver pretty much for the set. Just try and get to a kick. They find themselves pretty much under the pump at the moment. Fingal Bay have really found a second leg, And they're mussing up. They're going to give themselves every opportunity. Or they're going to make a lie of me. No, they're not.
Can't give away a penalty, though.
No, and that's a pretty good defensive set there as Pat Murray's taken on the halfway line. Clark's going to kick high. Is that going to be taken on the full? Well, that's an identical decision that we saw earlier on in this half, which I think he got right there too. So, yep, knock back. Happy with that. Play on. There we see Fingal Bay rucking it out now, and they're going to have to. They're going to have to look at some sort of alternative play. They've got plenty of time, but they don't want to leave it to the last couple of minutes. They've probably got to have a look at. As we see the wind's just picked up, just in the. Nearly blew all our papers away. So we looked. Oh, I think they were just shaping to a blindside play there, and we've been asking for that man Redmond to take the line on. I think we were just about to see it. Unfortunately, he spilled his lollies and put the ball down. Now he's given reasonable field position to Dora Creek here. I suspect won't be flamboyant again. I think they'll just look to see out this set and probably sit Fingal Bay in a corner and try and hold them there for 2 or 3 tackles as best they can and wind this clock down a bit. But it's still game on, mate. There's plenty of opportunities. Logic suggests they should get probably 3 more sets in these next few minutes.
Yeah, mate, probably 3 sets, but the field position is in a bad spot. But they've a good tackle there from young Carney again to get the ball back. Snyder falling the ball. It's a good tackle there from young Carney. But there we go. Oh, they've got a piggyback here. So I think the referee now is one of Fingal's favourites. 10 minutes ago they didn't like him much, but now they're all over him. I think if Fingal can get home, the referee will get home safe. He'll be the hero. But this is pretty important set in the context of the game here now. Look, it's probably maybe 5-6 to go here now. Fingal 60 out. Sorry, 40 out. 60 out from their line, 40 out from Dora Creek's line. With a full set of 6. Like we said before, it's 13 on 13. Jared Deemer taking it up, fresh off the bench, fresh legs. I think Snyder, Benny's here. There's a decoy, back to Vander, Waitoa, Jakey. Great tackle there from the Dora Creek. I think maybe lock forward, or Marlborough might be with the headgear. It was a good tackle anyway, whoever it was. Yeah, I think it was Marlborough. I think it was. It was a good tackle. He sort of snuffed out the inside ball. Go through Waitoa, the big Doro. Looks for an offload into Snyder. Another offload. 6 to go. It's all happening here now at the moment for Fingal. The crowd's getting a bit restless. Another penalty. They might even take the shot here. Fingal Bay. What do they do? Fingal Bay's decided against the 2, which it might cost them. Into Todd Doro. 4 minutes to go, so it's probably Fingal. It's probably Fingal Bay's second last set of the game here, and they're in the right position. 2 tackles down. If they can score here, they could probably win the game. Terrible ball from dummy half from Sheen. Jake Redmond, who we want to run the ball, is still crawling towards the line, probably 2 out. About 3 tackles down to Evander. And he's got to come back in here. It's probably not the spot to go here. The numbers are here. That's probably the 4th tackle. They might have 2 left. Sheen from dummy half. Sheen's going through. Sheen has scored. Ooh, he's just scored to the line. Last tackle. It's gone to Evander. He's knocked it on. A little touch there from Evander, Waitoa, and Dora Creek's knocked it on. Probably 2 minutes left in the game here at the moment now. So this should be the last set. Should be the last set of the game. It's pretty hard to hear now. The crowd's getting pretty vocal. 2 minutes to go. So this is probably Fingal's last chance, last throw at the dice. A set of 6, they score this with a goal kick. You'd probably say it's game over. But for Dora Creek, they've got a set of 6 to hold out to probably save the game here now. But in saying that too, it's been a great game of footy, played in the right spirit both sides. Sort of worthy of a A-grade top of the table clash, I think, here today. The short side looks a bit skinny here too. I just wonder if that penalty, Dave, comes back to haunt them.
Well, which one? But they've given away a few silly ones, or both sides have now in the back half. Dora Creek have been prone to a few errors as they go to the blind side. You're right, I think this will be the last attacking set for the Bay. We've got about a minute and a half to go. We've got the 19 there, Jaden Barnes, and I think you're right. I think Fuller, if he's on the field, is probably the player to look at as they go to the open side. There's Wade Tower. There's Redmond. Oh, they saw that coming. Nice tackle. They're all over him there. That's 3. There's not much doing there. We did say that in the first half.
He's close. Referee's having a good look.
Nah, he's called 4. We did say that earlier. They've gone to the left. There's Wade Tower. That's a nice ball away. That's Deemer. I think that's tackle 5. It has been tackled. It has been good defence as we go wide. That's a good defensive set from Dora Creek. And I think you'll see Fingal Bay muscle up for these first couple of plays here to try and force a mistake. We've probably got a minute, maybe. Oh, is that a mistake? Oh, he's blown a penalty. Well, that's probably the game. And but you said it a moment ago, Gutho, that it's been worthy of an A-grade top of the table fixture. This was a cracking game of football. Not over yet, of course, but we're winding. Well, we still have just under 2 minutes to go. I was a little off with my timing, so the Bay may get another set yet. As we see, I think that's Dominic Smith take a tackle. They wouldn't want to go into their shell too much here. Dora Creek is Brad Clark. He knows the way to go. He's gone straight through a nice quick play, the ball too. Gets up, there's Diamond Charlie. He has been strong. I think, John, you mentioned that early. That's not Charlie. I think that's his brother, actually. That's his brother, Tava. They look very much alike. My apologies. But there's tackle 4. There's probably about a minute and a half to go as we see another dummy half run from the 15 out to Charlie again, who throws a pass to Fitzpatrick. Is muscled by the Fingal Bay defence. That's last tackle. We're going to see probably 30 seconds. Well, they don't look like they're going to kick it out here unless the dummy half's going to. They're going to run it here on. Oh, that's a nice pass. Well, they've taken the unusual step. They threw a dummy to us all. Everyone thought they were going to kick that out on the blind. We called it early. They didn't look like they were set for it. They were set for a passing exchange on the right, which they took on. And that was the number 12, Brendan Quigg, has scored on the far right-hand side, which probably takes the score out to an unfortunate, what will be 24-18, or 24-16, sorry, which is not a really true reflection of the game. I still maintain, I think, in terms of the physicality and usage of the ball, that Fingal Bay will be equal, at least. The scoreline doesn't suggest that, but they can certainly hold their heads high. Terrific game of football, mate. Anything you want to say in wrapping up?
Oh, congratulate Dora Creek on a good game of footy. A bit unfortunate, like Dave said there, that last try at the end. Probably not a real reflection of the game. Probably 18-16. Fingal might look back on that penalty they had, probably 30 out, and maybe take the 2 there. Could have made it 18 all. Something else might have happened out of it, but they didn't, so it's game over. But congratulations, everyone, and referees, touch judges, and injury-free game for most people here, which is a good thing too in footy. Thanks very much for listening.
As we see the conversion taken successfully by Dora Creek, which does wind the score out to 24 points to 16. We've just said terrific game of football as the players go out under the cover of the early stages of darkness to shake hands. Well done to the referee and touch judges. Great job. Well done to the ladies in the preliminary game. 16-10 won by Fingal Bay. They didn't quite get the chockies in A grade, but congratulations to both teams for what was a cracking game of football. If that and last night's fixture is anything like what we've got to watch for A grade for the rest of the year, then we've got plenty of great footy to watch. So thanks very much for watching. Thanks very much to Quizmasters for sponsorship of the Bar TV Match of the Round. Also to the Win Network for their coverage, and our major sponsor too. Is thanks to all those organisations, and most importantly, you guys for watching. Thanks again. Thanks to my co-commentator, or commentator as it turned out today, John Gutherson, and thanks very much for the Bar TV. We're going to wrap it up for the afternoon, and we'll see you again on Friday night this week for the yet-to-be-disclosed fixture that we'll host for Bar TV Match of the Round. Thanks very much for watching.
It's awesome.